just out of curiosity, I've never even thought about it. I've never changed mine. Do people just do it for fun?
It's 100% for the lulz.
That's pretty funny. All right, so here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Match number 2 between Rumble and Zoast. Good luck to both runners.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the reserve tank first item this go around.
I'm going to hope that we get a powerful item first, just to see how it adjusts how they play.
I didn't actually notice, but does Rumble have Moonwalk on?
I don't think so. He's I think he's like me. He's opting to do what I refer to as, I refer to it as AFS, appropriate fall speed. So he's staying true to the original.
It's fair. It's fair. Because you can definitely lose way more than 10 seconds. Simply due to Moonwalk.
So once again, we got Morphing Ball in its vanilla spot. Not uncommon. For these randomizers in the current logic, Morphing Ball is one of the first 2 items. So if it's not in its vanilla place, it would have been in the ceiling here in the next room. So we'll just kind of see what's up here.
Yeah, interesting glitch that I don't think happens anymore, but it did punish one runner in a race previously. If you decide that you don't want to check that item first, and instead you go over to the right, it would cause the item on the bomb pillar to despawn.
We'll talk about that again in a second, but remember that time about a minute ago when I said I wanted it to be a powerful item?
Oh boy, that is a big pickup.
The funny thing is, though, is I've noticed this happen a lot. I almost want to say that the randomizer is self-aware and will troll you sometimes. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten plasma early and then never found charge.
Yeah. I mean, the randomizer is in fact random.
Okay, look at Zoast here.
That's what I was going to say. I want to know what triggers his decision to go the Rolling Hills route first, as opposed to going back up the shaft. I don't know what the difference was, because he had the same items. Is it the E-Tank? Does the E-Tank make the difference?
That's what I was wondering. It also, it could be the E-Tank, but it also could just depend on what the item was, even if it's not an E-Tank. It looks like Rumble here opting to skip that Mother Brain item. So Zoast has an extra super missile pack that Rumble does not have, and otherwise they're pretty much synced up here.
Yeah, they're both in the climb right now, doing climb things. Both of them utilizing the wall jump strat.
But back to your point, Minashne, we kind of got off track because of the great plasma find there. But yeah, you're right. That's actually happened to me before I realized what was happening. And so, as most players know, once you leave the right side and all the enemies are out and the planet is quote unquote awake, that item, the Morphing Ball location item, will disappear. So, oh wow, Rumble getting trolled by that waiver there.
Oh, that waiver loves to troll. But the thing is, in the event that waiver did not knock him into that reserve tank, there's a 100% probability he would forget about it by the time he was running down to Torian. And I can't tell you how many times I've just plowed straight into a terrible item that I intended to skip.
Yeah, but this is an interesting opportunity to talk about sort of the theory behind it. We talked a lot about this last race. Rumble is a very, very smart player. And again, I spoke with him before the match, and he was basically just acknowledging hey, I know that if Zoast and I make the same decisions, Zoast is probably going to win, right? Because of just his overall ability in general movement. So Rumble made a choice there to skip the BT item, whereas Zoast did not. And it only was an E-Tank. So in theory, that actually saved Rumble some time.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably 30 seconds?
I bet it's more than that. I mean, you've got to go to the right, you got to fall down, open the door, grab the item. Maybe for Zoast, it's about 30. I would say for somebody of a medium skill level, maybe maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, like 40, 42 seconds, somewhere in that range. But yeah, I mean, now we see Rumble being just a little bit ahead of Zoast right now, just because he decided that item, I'm sorry, excuse me, that item check wasn't worth it.
True, and again, that decision alone is not going to win, a race, but if you can find multiple places to cut and have a good performance, maybe get a little lucky, then you can start swinging some things your way. So it'll be interesting to see what route Rumble chooses to do here relative to what Zoast does again.
Yeah, it's just stacking up a lot of those little gambles. Wow.
He's doing it again. And again, I want to point out that I do not disagree with his choice at all, even if it turns out that he accidentally skipped something important. I understand the need to try to make a play. You know what I mean?
Yep, 100%. I definitely understand this. I've been in the same position, and it's what you got to do. You gotta make those gambles. He wants to push it to game 3.
Let's see what Zoast finds. Oh, so that gamble will be very detrimental to Rumble here because it turned out to be Speed Booster.
Speed Booster is a fantastic item. In the event that Rumble doesn't find ice, we're gonna see him checking a lot of locations he was hoping he could skip, and that's purely for the fact that he's not going to be able to do anything in Meridia until he finds either ice or speed.
Yeah, that's a great point. Oh, and we found bombs early again. Menashe, I don't know about you, but I've had a bunch of randomizers where I didn't find bombs or found them very late. Having 2 in a row where bombs came so early is kind of an anomaly.
I've done a very, very large number of randomizers, and I could probably count on one hand the number of times I've found bomb. So this is highly unusual from my experience.
Okay, so one more thing that, Rumble's choice affords us the opportunity to look at is since he does not have Speed Booster, he cannot go to Waterway. Zoast will be able to if theoretically like Varia or something like that is under there, then it's going to get really, really absurd.
Yeah, at that point, that's where you see he's going to end up going to do like hell runs or things of that nature, which just, those are like 20 minutes of sunk cost if they don't pay off. It's really painful. It's an extremely expensive thing to have to do.
Exactly. The flip side, again, as we pointed out earlier, let's imagine that an E-Tank had been in where Speed was. Look how much time Rumble would have saved, Yeah. He's several rooms ahead.
Yeah, this is where he needs to be.
So Zoast now going to make his way through Waterway. We'll see what he comes up with down here.
Hopefully it's an E-Tank.
Oh my goodness. 2 of the most powerful movement-based items in the game. And Rumble does not have either.
Those items save a very large amount of time. Space Jump just makes your movement so fluid through the rest of the game after you pick it up. You can use Space Jump everywhere, and it's phenomenal.
The flip side, again, here's the thing. Zoast has not found, the 2 items that Zoast has that Rumble doesn't, does not mean that Rumble is in a position to not be able to finish the game or anything like that. It's just that Zoast will now have, at minimum, access to all of Meridia without Ice Beam, whereas Rumble will have to find Ice Beam. Mm-hmm. And secondly, Zoast will get a lot of value and be able to move a lot quicker through certain segments because of those items.
This also could be kind of like, I don't know if you've seen any like A Link in the Past, but there's like things that require like chains of items. So it could be that Speed was required to get Space Jump, and Space Jump is required to get the item at X-Ray. And so if X-Ray has gravity, then but Zoast isn't even checking it. Interesting. So Zeus chose to skip X-ray there, even though he does have space jump.
Well, it's not overly uncommon, I don't think, for even the faster guys to, make some decisions, try to, mathematical decisions to try to skip some items just to, try to go a little faster.
It's an expensive check. It can be dangerous as well if you take damage at the wrong point. You could die.
Plus, I guess if you really break it down, there's only 3 items that could be there that are like completely game changing, right? Charge, or the 2 suits.
Yeah. Or ice, potentially. Ice could be there. Which, since he doesn't have gravity, technically it's relevant.
True. And Cerberoth, just to answer your question, of course he could go back for speed, but we're talking about theoretically Rumble has already made the choice to skip those items for the sole purpose of trying to save time versus a superior player. So if you're talking about just completing the randomizer, he can go back, but in terms of forming theoretically for a race, it'd probably be unlikely to see him do that.
Huh. He gave the mini crate iframes, and Speed Booster did not kill him because of it.
Is that our second in a row with high jump boots at the E-Tank location there?
I was going to say the same thing. I do believe that is the second time we have seen high jump boots at that E-Tank location.
High jump boots.
Yeah. OG Varia is, value.
So we got Vanilla Varia, and in this one we had Vanilla Gravity last time. How about that?
Mm-hmm. We could see Vanilla Gravity again. Oh, my goodness. Vanilla Gravity.
Once again, this is the phenomenon that we referred to earlier. I can almost assure you that Rumble is probably not happy to see Gravity right there.
He really needed it to be in an off-the-wall gamble location, because this puts Zoast in pretty close to go mode. I mean, he's not missing much. I think that he could complete the game by picking up either, 6 or 8 more super packs or ice. Either one.
Exactly. Basically, if this. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say he would need charge if he found ice, but.
Right. Yeah. So at this point, Zoast can probably honestly just kind of go forward like you normally would and kill all the bosses and only check the major items that are literally in his way. Oh, he's opting to skip on the gravity check real quick. Interesting. But anyway, if he had gotten gravity there, he could have basically just done his normal thing. He can still go to lower Norfair now immediately, which I bet he will opt to do. But as we mentioned earlier, when you're an underdog, you want there to be a lot of craziness in the rando seed. And both of these seeds so far have not given that. So it's kind of put him in a tough spot.
This puts Rumble in an interesting position, though, that Zeus did not check high jump boots here. He does have everything that he needs to go into lower Norfair, and I really like what Zoast is doing, and the reason that I like it is, personally, I feel like it's a good idea to basically just do required things.
Exactly.
If you're on the path of picking up purely required items and you're still allowing yourself to progress, why deviate from that? You're just potentially wasting time.
Right. And again, it's easy to kind of make assumptions with the information that, the viewer knows because we see everything. But Zoast has no idea where gravity is, and it's still possible in his mind for it to be anywhere. It could be in lower Norfair. So I completely agree with you, Menashne. He has the opportunity to go ahead and, you know, go down here, take care of business, and if gravity's here, he'll already have it, and he won't have any. Really, he could have gotten away with doing 0 checks in Upper Norfair if it ended up down here.
Exactly, and that's it's a very interesting thing to think about, and as we're seeing right now, it can totally backfire too. Like, Zeus could be in a situation right now where he doesn't necessarily need to check these items, but he doesn't know that. There's no way he could know that.
Correct. And I think to your point earlier, I think you made this point last run about Rumble. I think Zeus might have made that choice to check Screw because if it's a powerful item that he needed, like gravity, then great. And even if it's just an E-Tank, that's actually a good thing to have here in Lower Norfair because he doesn't have that many E-Tanks. And this is a very dangerous portion of the run.
Yeah, especially post-Lava Dive, because even if you execute a perfect Lava Dive, you're losing, what, like 90 health probably? So just recuperating that health is a great thing. And space jump.
Oh, unfortunately falling down there. And needs to be careful here. The only way for him to kill these pirates right now, I think, would be his missiles.
His supers is a thing.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry. I should have said super missiles, but yeah, because he doesn't have charge.
Yeah, I think these are impervious to actual missile damage.
I think you can damage those with regular missiles because I think that's part of the strat for low % ice.
You're right.
I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it the pink pirates that aren't damageable by regular missiles, perhaps?
Yeah. He obviously just wanted to save as much time as possible there instead of using any of his ammo.
Still got 138 HP and the reserve. He's totally fine. I did say he's fine. I would not be fine.
Yeah. He's been in this situation many times.
That was a beautiful double KO from Zeus right there.
Absolutely. And using the speed booster strats to get rid of the ninja pirates here. Great Shine Spark. To me, the randomizers are opportunities to sort of improvise a little bit, knowing that he does not have, screw attack and could possibly have a little bit harder of a time space jumping through that room, and also knowing that he doesn't have gravity, so he can't run quickly through the lava. He opted to do a Shine Spark, which is not a normal strat that you see in many of the categories.
I don't think I've seen it in a category, yeah. It's definitely very efficient to execute a Shine Spark right there.
So obviously here, just for anybody who might not be aware, without Charge Beam, you got to do 30 super missiles worth of damage to Ridley. Each super does 600 damage. I think he missed one, so he'll have to supplement a little bit with power bombs and regular missiles, but he should be fine.
Yeah, he did miss one. He shot him with 4 missiles and a power bomb, though, so that takes care of that damage he missed. I think he actually did 200 extra damage to him, but that doesn't matter.
What a great fight.
Very clean.
Okay, Rumble. Ooh, Screw Attack. That actually is a very, very powerful item in terms of Lower Norfair and making it much more safe. So that'll help him get out. Rumble now executing a great lava dive there, and will now, I think he did a gravity jump. And now he will head down to Lower Norfair, and let's see what decisions he makes.
Yep, that was a first try gravity jump from Rumble right there. Very well executed.
Once again, Zoast is performing very, very well in terms of execution. He doesn't have gravity yet, so we'll have to see. Technically speaking, if he doesn't have it at this point, when he gets up, he has a few choices. He can try to check Bubble Mountain stuff. He can go ahead and, some people might go ahead and head to wreck ship if they don't find what they're looking for, whatever. I would assume he would probably exhaust most of his Norfair options before he did that. But Rumble's still doing very well so far in this randomizer.
Definitely. I would agree here. I think that we're going to see him check those upper Norfair locations before he goes to wreck ship, because if he does commit to going to wreck ship in the event that it ends up being in a lower Norfair location, he's going to lose a very large amount of time. And I think he realizes that that's not a gamble that is worthwhile to play.
Right. Again, we'll have to wait and see what he elects to do. But the really interesting thing here is that mathematically, this would normally not be the case, but it just so happens that gravity was in a location that he skipped early and that he probably won't check until on the way out. So we might see him end up checking all of Bubble Mountain and both Crocomire items when they might be unnecessary. And Rumble probably will skip those.
It's likely that Rumble will skip them, unless he decides that he really wants to hunt down Charge Beat, but I don't expect that to be. So we could see Zoast lose upwards of, 6 or 7 minutes here to having to check those locations.
Yeah, we'll have to just kind of wait and see. I've seen players take the chance of just going Crocomire, not going Crocomire at all and just hoping that nothing's down there. But notice what Zoast is doing right now. He is going out of his way. Well, it's not really out of his way, but he's making a choice to grab miners that are very close by because he already is thinking in advance about what if I don't find Charge.
Mm-hmm. Which is a mentality that you can end up in a lot in these randomizer seeds, and it's something that's very relevant. There have been a very large number of times where Charge has been like at Gauntlet, and I don't know. I don't normally check an early Gauntlet. That's something that I normally only check if I am short on miner items whenever I'm headed to Sporia.
Yeah, that makes sense.
We could see this kind of being like, that's the case. And so he's going to pick up 41 or 42% of items whenever he doesn't necessarily need them. But in his mind he does, because he doesn't know where Charge is. And we actually don't know where Charge is either right now.
Rumble now picking up the E-Tank before heading to Ridley. Looks like Zoast is now in Bubble Mountain cleaning up. And we're going to get a little bit of hype here. A lot of times in randomizers, we do not get the lava rising up after the speed booster item, but since Zoast already has speed booster, we will see that cutscene, or I don't know if you call it a cutscene, but that event trigger. Mm-hmm. So that'll be fun.
Yeah. That's kind of one of those rarities that you just don't normally get to see. That and Bomb Chorizo.
My favorite is when you get to fight BT with super missiles.
BT with super missiles is the best. You just shoot him in the face twice and he cries.
Yeah, one shot triggers basically the the initial breakdown, and then the second one kills him. So it's like the fastest fight ever.
I've seen some races where I guess runners just aren't quite aware of what a super missile does to BT, and so they'll open up with some missiles on him, and I'm just like, oh man, you're missing the fun.
Zoast, again, makes perfect sense. He elected to skip that miner item in the previous room because it was a power bomb, and he clearly doesn't need it anymore. Even if Zoast never finds Ice Beam, he has 15 power bombs already, which means that he could very safely go into Tori and kill all the Metroids and not have to refill. Mm-hmm. So he skipped that one, but opted to grab the missile pack in the next room. And I would assume the next item he finds is Gravity. Unless, oh wait, I take that back. I forgot about Crocomire.
Very nice first try glitch there. That gate glitch is something that can be very challenging for a lot of runners, but I know it's required in RBOs, so he's had quite a bit of experience executing that trick, as he is the world record holder in that category by over 3 minutes, I think, at this point.
Ooh, interesting. Zoast is making a save here, which my assumption would be I've never seen anybody save there. Maybe that's standard, but I've never seen anybody do it. I bet he's going to kill Croc and then check grapple, and if he finds nothing, he will just reset.
That is 100% correct. That is his mentality here. He's in the mentality of, if this is double E-Tank, he's not keeping those items. He's not wasting the additional minute that it would take to get back out of that room. He's resetting and continuing on with his conquest.
Now, Menashe, I'm not... I've done several randomizers, but probably not nearly as many as you. Is this a common save to make, or is that kind of more of an advanced tactic?
I don't think that it's super common. It's something that I'll do pretty frequently, but I think people who haven't done a ton of randomizers don't necessarily see the value. But I think that it is a good thing to do, and the event that you've got a fairly low % chance that you're going to find a worthwhile item. Right now, Zoast knows that he's looking for three items. Really. He's looking for Gravity Suit, Ice, or Charge. Those are probably the only items that he would keep. I think that he would reset even if he found Wave Leap.
Yeah, especially without having Charge, it kind of is in some ways irrelevant.
Yeah, there's not a lot of value to it. It doesn't save time. He doesn't have Ice. He doesn't have Charge, so there's no real value to Wave.
And our boy Rumble over here, having an absolutely excellent Ridley fight so far. I believe that's going to be enough to take care of it. And Ridley trolling him a little bit here, but dead. Great job by Rumble there. And there's the reset.
There is the reset. And that's that value that he's getting from that save. It's saving all of that time that it would take him to run out of that area. And the fanfare, because who wants to wait through 6 seconds of fanfare?
Of course. Now at this point, unless he just, decides randomly to skip the items in Business Center, I would assume the next item that he gets will be Gravity at the high jumpers.
He is exiting this room at the, or entering the room at the bottom, so if he doesn't find Gravity, I will be highly surprised.
And he's always, at this point, again, since we already know that he's making an attempt to collect as many items as possible, in terms of minor ammunition, to supplement possibly not finding Charge, every time he comes across a minor item that happens to be a super pack, he's going to be very, very pleased.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think he's short 3 regular missile packs and 2 super packs, and then he's in full go mode.
And Rumble now making his way out of Lower Norfair. He's currently in Wasteland. He picked up his screw attack, which makes the exit from Lower Norfair significantly safer.
Yeah, I'm sure that Zoast can do speed booster Zeb skip, so that's why he would be in go mode in the event that he does find those few items.
Absolutely. Yeah, at this point, if Zoast just runs into Charge Beam, that would be 100% go mode, but even now, he's basically in go mode. He just needs to collect the minor items that he comes across along the way, and he should...
4-win ice check. So he's considering himself as pretty much in go mode as far as major items are concerned.
Yeah,
I think
I agree with that choice.
A 40-second time loss.
Yeah, I think especially for him, like if you really think about it in terms of him already collecting all the minors that he has, I think that's a great choice.
I would agree.
I would even be surprised if he checks Dragon. I think literally the only item, I guess I'm wrong. I thought that literally the only item he might check would be Botswin.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact time cost on this check is. He's checking out the minor.
That's smart, because if it had been a good major, he would have, it would have been a good choice, but he also had a shot at getting a minor. Unfortunately, it was just a attack.
Totally worthwhile. I didn't even think about that minor because that's never where I'm at. That's not the minor item I typically check. But yeah, that was a brilliant play from Zoast.
Interesting to note, for those of you that might not have been here at the beginning of this particular race, Rumble opted to make some strategic skips to try to save some time. Unfortunately for him, the skips that he made caused him to miss Speed Booster and Space Jump. And so right now, he doesn't have the ability to escape Norfair through the Frog Way with Speed Booster. So he just actually had to go the slow way through the top portion there, through Cathedral and the rest of those rooms.
The other rough thing for Rumble here is that he does not have access to Botwin right now, as he doesn't have speed or ice, and unless he's knowledgeable on the Crystal Flash setup, I know is a very low percent of our runners.
Looks like he's going to go up anyway. I'm curious to know if he's just kind of taking sort of a risk it for the biscuit approach here and hoping that ice or speed will be at Mama Turtle. But as we pointed out yesterday, or excuse me, not yesterday, but earlier in the match, he will need speed or ice, assuming he doesn't know the Crystal Flash skip that Menashne was referring to. And he probably, in terms of time, does not want to try to go back to any items he skipped in Criteria or Brinstar. So he's either going to be forced into that situation and lose a ton of time, or maybe he'll just decide to go to Wreck Ship. I'm not sure to see what he'll do here.
Yeah, and the other thing was, if he did want that item, I think the only choice he had was to IBJ off of Mama Turtle.
That's a good point.
Which is pretty rough. Yeah, it looks like he's just gonna gravity jump out of here, I would expect, and go to Wreck Ship.
That would be my assumption. Let's see what he opts to do. Zoasty getting started here with his Dragon fight.
That's what it looks like he's doing.
Wow. Without charge, without an opening X Factor, still getting a perfect one round, one cycle, pure speed booster kill there.
Giving up his blue suit, going for a spike suit.
Well, if he wasn't in go mode before.
Just for that straight value. So I guess in this instance, Dragon's item is considered the validation chest.
Nice Wample jump by Zoast on the way out there. It looks like Rumble is now making his way up to Wreck Ship.
I think both of our runners are on the way there, with Zoast only having Fantoon left.
For the record, chat, we were just making a joke about pure go mode being the spring ball. That's kind of been an ongoing joke throughout most of the tournament, but he technically is in go mode in terms of like he doesn't have to find any more major items to complete the game, but he does need to collect a few more minors. We just assume that he'll collect those along his path and it won't be a problem.
Yeah, sorry for any confusion around that. I guess kind of whenever I consider somebody in go mode, it's a sense that he's not going to go out of his way to check any major items. Major items are generally pretty expensive as far as item checks go, whereas minor items can be fairly cheap overall in a time cost sense.
This is another interesting decision. I think had that been maybe ice, obviously he would have picked up charge, but had it been maybe ice, maybe even wave, but I kind of doubt it. But I think part of the reason he checked that was because there was also a minor with it. We've seen him do that twice now.
Yeah, that was a pretty expensive check, though. I think that one cost a fair bit of time. That one's probably over a minute of time cost.
Looks like we're going to get another green gate glitch here. Fourth time, the charm.
It's probably not the typical green gate that he's used to glitching through, so that's why it took him a couple tries.
Rumble now working on Fantoon. Also noteworthy that, technically speaking, in these randomizers, if you are able to do it and do it quickly, I believe the most optimal route that you can take in terms of bosses is Kraid, Ridley, Dragon, Fantoon. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct.
So Zoast will be able to execute here that exact pattern. Obviously, Rumble would have been able to have done the same thing had he had Speed Booster, but unfortunately did not and had to forego Meridia at the moment to check the items in Wreck Ship.
Yeah, and it's unlikely he's going to find what he's looking for here because we know that, what he's looking for is Gravity Suit or Speed Booster.
Oh, yeah, I think you meant Ice Beam.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Gravity Suit or Ice Beam, I apologize.
Oh, no, it's okay.
You could find Ice Beam up here, but that's not the ideal item that he's looking for. Oh, yes, you are correct. In every sense.
But yeah, I mean, I knew what you meant because we had talked earlier about how he's got to, try to find one of those two items, and it's unfortunate. Like, we know where Speed Booster is, but obviously he doesn't, and it's just kind of one of those unfortunate scenarios where he made an aggressive play, and I once again completely actually agree with it. It just unfortunately didn't work out for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Ice Beam is more than likely here. I think we've seen most other items at this point.
Okay, this is another very, very interesting moment in this race because Rumble just found charge.
Zoast won't check that item.
Yeah, I doubt that Zoast will check that item. In fact, the fact that he just checked this miner, which is not a normal check, is kind of an indicator to me that most likely what he's going to opt to do is skip any more of the major items. Now, he could, because it's the closest one. I mean, he could check it, but it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't.
It's a very low % chance that Zoast checks that item. I do not expect it at all. He's going to check the miner off to the left, and he's not going to check that major off to the right.
He might even opt to just gauntlet on the way into Torian and just hope that charge is up there, and if not, grab the two other minor items.
We could definitely see ice there.
That's a good point, yeah. That happened in one of my races, actually. We got there at the very, very end and found ice while trying to collect miners, I think. Or at least, I don't know if we were trying to collect miners, but finding ice that late is very interesting because you've probably made some different choices along the way because of not having it.
Oh, wow. Well, there's ice. Rumble found ice. So, two very good items in Wreck Ship.
This also means that Rumble can skip the rest of the major items. He doesn't have to go looking at gravity location. That's a very big pickup for him. I would assume he will beeline it back down to Meridia and try to kill Dragon immediately.
Yeah, that does put Rumble in actual go mode.
Sure does.
Not even fake theoretical missing minor items.
That's right. And there he goes, right out the exit. But yeah, Mook in chat made the point. It kind of fits what I was mentioning earlier. Sometimes we get these seeds where you get plasma early, but you don't find charge until late. Oh, looks like Zoast is going to find it.
He is checking it. I'm surprised, but it's probably the cheapest major item to check, honestly, but I'm still surprised.
Yeah, let's put it this way. I mean, it definitely could have gone either way. It doesn't take long to check, so I certainly wouldn't blame him for checking it. And secondly, I guess technically, even if that had been an E-Tank, I mean, I doubt he would have needed it, but I don't know. He could have opted to grab it just in case. I don't know, but I guess he just decided it was so close he would check it there.
Yeah. I'm surprised to see it, but he did it, and it paid off. Like I said, it's a pretty low cost to check it. It's not much time, but I did not expect to see that. I am surprised. Yeah, I think we're just gonna see Zoast go on to Torian here, and he's gonna be power bombing some Metroid or Machtroid. Yeah, Metroids. Yes. These guys are Metroids. The Meridia ones are Machtroids, I believe.
Are we about to see him gauntlet here?
He's going gauntlet. I don't...
Oh, you know what I just realized, Menashe, that we have been ignoring? I mentioned this quite a while back, but oh no, he's not checking it. Okay, Zoast doesn't have Ice Beam, and so it's possible that he was thinking whether he found Charge or Ice at that spot, they would have both saved a lot of time, because now without Ice, he's got to use Power Bombs on the Metroids, and that actually takes quite a while.
It does. It's very, very true. Ice allows him to do a very easy Zeb skip, and it also saves time on Metroids, whereas right now he has to powerbomb all the Metroids, and he has to do a speed booster Zeb skip. Since the Count Charge doesn't necessarily have to, he could kill all the Zeptite, but I think it's unlikely that we see that.
So someone in chat just asked if Zoast was about to get the #2 best time in this tournament in terms of Hall of Fame. It is definitely on the table. Currently, outside of his previous run, which was a 43, 15 or something like that, it was a really low 43. The other fastest time in this tournament so far is a 49. I would assume, even with having to powerbomb the Metroids, that he would have a shot at getting the second fastest time as well. We'll see.
Powerbombing the Metroids does cost a lot of time, and also, I'm sure everybody noticed, but Zoast bombed the Metroids off of him because the Metroids do a very large amount of damage, especially whenever there's 3 or 4 of them draining you at the same time.
Exactly.
His health was dropping extremely quickly.
What's really interesting is to think that he's gone very quickly, and technically speaking, he has all those miners that, I mean, there's no way for him to have known, but he has all those miners that now are kind of negligible because he has Charge. And plus, I guess he will get some value out of those supers on Mother Brain. It's just that they won't be quite as valuable as they would have been if he did not have Plasma.
Yeah, Charge or Plasma, exactly. They're still nice to have. They're very easy to just dome Mother Brain over and over and over again with.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Rumble picking up X-Ray there. He kind of hesitated for a second. He does have Charge Plasma, so this will allow him to show off some sweet strats. It might actually save time over a Spark strat for Dragar, so that makes sense for the pickup. He's going to be frying some shrimp.
Oh, unfortunate. There, Zoast. Getting rid of those vines there is a lot more difficult when you don't have wave.
Yeah, without wave, that trick becomes so much harder because you can't clear out all of the vines in a line. You have to kill them one at a time. So you have to do 10 more jumps or something. So it ends up being 14 jumps instead of 4.
Rumble, especially in the context of him not having Speed Booster this entire time like Zoast did, and also not having Space Jump the entire time like Zoast did, Rumble's had, again, quite a nice race here.
Yeah, he's a very, very solid player. Definitely follow Rumble. For how he's having to play against his opponent, he is doing a phenomenal job.
Zoast with the swaggy Speed Booster Zep skip there.
Yeah, and at the same time, we saw Rumble with the X-Ray on Dragon, which is always fun to see. Plasma has a really interesting property where it pierces enemies, and whenever you combine that with X-Ray against certain bosses, it allows you to actually mob as well some certain enemies. It allows you to basically reset their iframes by activating X-Ray, and you instantly kill any boss.
Yeah, great job by Rumble there. Zos making very quick work of Mother Brain 2 here. Unloaded, I think, somewhere around 45 supers or so. And looks like we'll now finish up with the charged plasma shots. Shouldn't take too many more. Charged plasma, even by itself, is, you know, pretty powerful.
Yeah, 45 supers takes out 75% of Mother Brain's health there.
And Rumble now, you know, essentially just looking to finish the game. He just got done with Dragon and will now head to Tori.
Yeah, we're going to see an even faster time from Rumble this time, I think.
Rumble's time, without having speed or space, essentially the entire run, because those items are so early, is really, really kind of mind-boggling here.
I mean, he still doesn't have the items, like,
yeah,
and he won't find them because he's just headed to Torian. Huh. I don't know what the optimum pathing is out of that room. I don't know if it's faster to go through the sand pit or Bachman's room.
Well, he doesn't have speed booster, so he would have to do the ice clip again, which
yeah, he'd have to reverse ice clip, which is pretty expensive as far as time goes.
Yeah, I mean it's not too hard. It just kind of takes a little bit more time than just running through there. It wouldn't surprise me if Rumble had actually tested that before for like him personally and made the optimal decision for himself there.
I agree. He's a very, very conscious player.
So yeah, again, you never know what'll happen here, but assuming Zos just kind of does things normally and doesn't opt to go visit the animals, looking at another sub 50 time, potentially the second fastest of this tournament. Let's see how long it takes him to get out of here.
Yeah, I think we're probably looking at like a 48:20 or 48:25, but we'll see.
Yeah, especially considering that he has all the items. Having speed booster versus not having speed booster is actually pretty significant in terms of time saved at the end of the game on the escape here.
Yeah, you get 2 sparks at the very end of the game having speed booster, and if you don't have that, I mean, you have to run all the way through this. Oh, he's
wow.
Man. So for anybody who doesn't know, that's a neat little trick where you preserve blue suit through basically stopping your momentum. What you have to do is acquire blue suit and then perform a mock ball. And then whenever you would like to stop moving, you have to perform it. I think it's just an angle up command. It might be angle up and angle down, as well as stop holding forward in the direction of travel.
Also, while that was going on, Rumble did a really excellent gravity jump to get out of Meridia there.
Yeah, great time, 48:21. There it is.
GG to the Zos Master. I checked with him to see if he would be willing or had any interest in coming by to scope, to have an interview, but he said that he was good to go. So congratulations to Zos for the 2-0 victory against Rumble in our round 2 matchup. And once again, I mean, we got Rumble. I mean, like, Rumble is probably potentially going to finish this again in a sub-hour time without speed the whole time. It's just unfortunate for him that he had to run up against such great runs here.
Yeah, I think he's going to be taking 2 of the 5 Hall of Fame spots with both of these runs. I mean, it's sad to see that. He put up some phenomenal runs here. It's just he was against the zoasty.
But for anybody who happens to not be aware of all the different tournament rules, that is not the last you will see of Rumble at all. That is only his first loss of the entire tournament. So it's a double elimination tournament. So he will now head over to the losers bracket and have another opponent at some point in the next few weeks. So you will get an opportunity to watch him run again in the very near future. Yeah, Fruit Bat Salad bringing up a great point in chat. We might have seen not only the fastest 2 times of the tournament, but we might end up seeing the fastest 2 losses as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, these were fantastic times for Rumble.
I'm not sure though. He might not be able to make the second fastest because of his lack of speed booster. I would assume it's going to take him a little bit longer to get out. We'll have to kind of wait and see. I think right now the second fastest loss time is a 57, like a low 57 maybe. Oh, it's a 57.34. So he might not be able to make that without speed booster. We'll just have to wait.
Yeah, no speed booster, no space jump. Both of those items save quite a bit of time.
Obviously, you can't change the past, but if Rumble had opted to check those items and ended up with space jump and speed booster early, and had made every other choice the same, it's possible that could have shaved like another 3 or 4 minutes off of his time. So he could have ran another mid 50 there.
Mm-hmm. Facing right again. I appreciate it. Thank you, Rumble. Saving those frames. We have some strong proponents for facing left in the Super Metroid community, even though the frames are what matter. It's a very interesting. I don't know if it's technically a glitch, but so what Rumble did right there was pause before he went in to get the energy recharge, and that makes it to where Samus doesn't actually attach to the enemy energy recharge, and you can see there that Rumble is able to run away before the actual pop-up trigger to say that, hey, you've recharged your energy. Just efficiency, saving a few frames.
Oh wow! Did Rumble pull that off without turning plasma off?
Yep. So as far as I understand, which I've done that a few times, all you have to do is stand in the very corner right there, charge up a shot and shoot straight up, and you will be fine to pull that off. No problem at all.
Okay, I was under the assumption, I knew that you could do it with plasma, but I thought that you had a smaller window than if you just did like regular ice beam.
You could be right.
We can double check on that, but either way, I mean, it's a good move for him to pull that off there.
Yeah, it's something that you have to know because being able to do the ice zeb skip without wave is something that's very relevant, and not something that everybody's knowledgeable on.
Rumble did not have as many supers as Zoast, and also did not, if I recall, he did not refill at the ship before Torian. So as you can see, he used most of his ammo on Mother Brain 1, so he's opting instead to simply use charge shots. And even though it's a little bit slower than if he would have had those extra supers, not going to take too long. Even if you only had plasma and charge, still doesn't usually take too long to kill Mother Brain 2.
Yeah, I think that's what, like 700 damage maybe?
I'll check on it real quick.
I don't want to be a liar.
Plasma is 150 alone, so I think a simple charge shot of it would be 450. Mm-hmm. What he has is ice and plasma, which does 600 damage.
600 then, yeah, exactly.
So I think it's what, 30? Is that 30 shots instead of 20?
That is 30 shots. Yeah, nice clean mother brain from Rumble. Definitely very solid execution throughout this entire run. Just unfortunately, those early gambles that he made didn't quite pay off the way he wanted them to, so it put him in a position where he had to spend additional time searching for items.
Right. I would be, let's put it this way, and again, I'm just kind of projecting here. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be accurate, but I would actually be surprised if we did not see more risks being taken at this point of the tournament than we did previously. Even though every player that's made it so far into the second round is a very solid player, the simple reality of the fact is that, when guys like me or Rumble or, Menashe, I'll use you as an example, when we go up against some of these truly elite players, we're clearly at a disadvantage. So, we might end up taking a lot more risks than we would have in the first round or something like that. So I think you might actually see a lot of players taking a little bit more risk in some of these upcoming matches.
Yeah, which I think makes things super interesting because you kind of get to see the difference between what the risk is and what the reward is. I mean, in the event that we hadn't seen speed and space jump at the two items that Rumble chose to skip, if those had been swapped with maybe two of the E-tanks that he picked up instead, we would have seen a very, very solid time coming out of Rumble here.
Absolutely. And as it stands now, even without speed booster, I would assume he's still probably going to get a sub-hour time here.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we're going to see probably a sub 59, maybe a high 48. Or sorry, 50.
You would have seen me go the bottom route and run about a third of the way before I realized I didn't have speed booster and then turn around.
Oh, I know that struggle. You know what else? I didn't know you could run up those stairs. I thought you had to jump up those stairs.
Yeah, I actually figured that out watching some of Zoe's low percent ice runs this summer.
I said that. I think I was talking to Maniacal, and he was like, you can just run up those stairs, right? I was like, I had no idea. Because I thought that somebody had just executed like a very, very nice, like repeated down grab up the stairs. No, not at all. Not at all.
When you saw Zeus do it, you just thought that it was some advanced tech.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's Zeus. Come on.
Well, we'll talk a little bit here after Rumble gets done, but I just want to reiterate, ladies and gentlemen, who are currently viewing this broadcast, please make sure to go give Rumbleminze and zoasty a follow. These are two really awesome guys, like really cool dudes, great runners, working hard to keep improving at Super Metroid, and definitely their streams are worth your time and attention. So make sure to go give them a follow. I want to give another big shout out to CheatyFace4. Another up-and-coming runner who is doing our tracking tonight. Thank you, Cheaty, for that sacrifice.
Really appreciate it, Cheaty. And shout out to Kip. Kip is fantastic. I'm sure some of you have stopped by his stream, but it's always really chill and a good time. Fantastic.
Thank you, Menashe. And same for Menashe, another great runner. Menashe, you run, I know you do any percent. I know you've done a lot of hundo and some rando. Do you have any other kind of things on the horizon at the moment?
Right now, I'm probably focusing on 80% for the most part. I just got 58, which isn't great, but it's a step forward. It was like a 7-minute PB, so.
Oh, congrats!
No complaints.
So GG to Rumble. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's probably going to do it for us. I don't believe there are any more Super Metroid races tonight, but I'm sure there will be some other great content for you on the Speed Gaming channels. We can't call off the commentary without giving a huge shout out and a lot of love to Feasel. Thanks again, Feasel, for everything you do for not only the Super Metroid community, but speedrunning community at large, and for helping us put this on.
And Feasel restreams like nearly every single race. It is very impressive the amount of work that he puts into making this tournament function.
Absolutely. Menashe, it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for doing co-commentary with me.
Yeah, thank you, Kip. You have a great night.
You too. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all have an excellent evening. And we will see you back here tomorrow on the Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 channels for a lot tomorrow, a lot of great races. So everybody have a nice evening, and we will catch you later.